AFTV, Arsenal 0, Everton 0. I've got James with me. James, obviously it was a draw, but you can't help but feel like it almost feels like a defeat in a way.
Yeah, well, it just feels like a massive opportunity missed, especially because of the Liverpool result. And people rightly say, listen, focus on yourselves. And yeah, there we go. That's the lesson there. Would all prefer that we'd won and they'd won. Focus on ourselves. And I think the first half, to be honest, was fine. It was pretty good. Look, they're always going to be stubborn and difficult to break down. I thought we were actually pretty good. I thought we had some decent chances and openings in that first half. I quite like the 11. No complaints there. Yeah. So I look at the team. I go, Odegaard should have scored once, maybe twice. And there were moments in that first half that I thought, okay, look, build on that. And then I think Arteta hit the panic button, which you rarely see him do. But I think he really panicked. And the 11 he ended up out there with didn't really make any sense. You've got Partey at right back, but like, what's the point? You've moved Timber to left back, but we've kind of established whenever we put right footers at left back, it doesn't look as good as when we've got left footers at left back. He took off Marino and Rice, but didn't put Partey into midfield. So actually, all our physicality was off. So even if we were dominating in terms of territory by running the game, in terms of our energy and our physicality, we lost that. Jorginho didn't have the impact on the ball we wanted. Odegaard came off. I didn't think Odegaard had a very good first half at all. He actually came off as he started to get on the ball and do his thing. Trossard ended up out on the touchline as a touchline winger. We know he's better closer to goal. Kieran Tierney was warming up the whole game and never saw him once, but okay, what difference did that have made? You can ask that. Jesus didn't have an impact. Another game without Sterling, and I've just sort of listed off 12 questions there.
Absolutely. So. Obviously, you mentioned, let's go back to the starting 11. You mentioned that you was fairly happy with the starting 11. I think generally most people agreed the same thing, but the big, the exclusion from the starting 11 today was, of course, Thomas Partey, who's been in fantastic form. What did you make of that decision?
Well, I don't think we should dwell on it. I mean, people in the comments might say, Partey has to start. But what are we saying? He's got to start every single game, and that against the side, all credit to Everton, are very good today. What are we saying? That we didn't play Man City or Liverpool today? So we couldn't rotate? I don't think we had to roll out our best 11. I think we had to get a balance. That's what there's a lot of very good players in this squad. It's just about getting the balance right. So if Partey had to sit this one out, he had to sit this one out. I don't think that's a problem. Would we have been better with him? Maybe, but I thought Rice did fine. Marino wasn't great. I was disappointed because I did a video yesterday kind of really saying, look, Marino can add something. We didn't really see that at all today. So I'm a bit disappointed from that perspective. Yeah, we probably would have been better with Partey maybe starting the game. But then I don't think Rice has sort of played the left 8 role that well himself. So I don't know, it's all ifs, buts and maybes really. The big one was Lewis Skelly starting. I was happy with that.
Of course. And obviously I think if you had to pick anyone out for an Arsenal man of the match, would you say that Lewis Skelly's probably up there for you? Or?
Yeah, up there. I thought Saliba and Gabriel literally just had a job to do by themselves.
I mean, I think the defence as a whole, I at no point did I think that Everton was going to score, but I would say, especially given his age as well, Lewis Skelly had a great game.
Yeah, totally agree. I thought Lewis Skelly was really confident again, and that was really good to see. Credit to him. But the defence come out with the most credit because they did their job, which was shut out Everton and try to give us enough territory. But I just feel like, again, with the subs, I felt like Arteta just regressed us in terms of any kind of control of the game. It's almost like they came out supercharged in the second half. Like, right, we need to get into them, which is kind of a good thing sometimes. But the game got really messy. So actually, even though the first half wasn't pretty, at least we're kind of playing our football all in and around their penalty area, waiting for some magic. And I felt that we had that many moments like that in the second half. I felt like it was all a bit sloppy, a little bit messy, sort of hoping that something would happen. So we lost control. So I don't know. From the way we came out the second half to the subs, something just wasn't right for that second half.
Absolutely. And obviously you mentioned those subs. If we can, what do you think the thought process was behind it? Because obviously there was a lot of us on the watch along. We all, raised eyebrows everywhere when we saw some of the substitutions that were made. What do you think the thought process there was from Mikel?
With what, sorry? With the
substitutions in general?
No, I'd have no idea. Like, genuinely, no, Frank. Like, normally I can sit here, and most of us, I think, can and go, okay, well, he was trying Havertz in the left 8. He was trying Trossard in midfield. He was, trying to get more overlappers in the team. He was trying to get more presence in the box. Normally you can... I really don't know, because anything let me tell you what I saw. I saw Havertz, I think, drop back into midfield, but he was barely there, fine, because you want him up the pitch next to Jesus. I then saw Jorginho basically in a one-man midfield. The amount of times he got the ball, and then you were just looking like there's no one around him. But he wasn't great. Saka at one point was then picking up different positions in the hope of trying to get into the game. Good on him, but that didn't really work. I have no idea. And then, once again, players playing in uncomfortable positions. Timber finding himself in the left half space where you want kind of creative players who can make something happen. You got Trossard out in the touchline. I'm like, Partey's sort of building up from deep at right back. I'm just like, what? These players don't belong in these positions. They don't play their best football in these positions. So I was really kind of confused about that, yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously, when you mention about these players playing out of position, do you potentially think that maybe goes back to, potentially us not having the transfer window that we possibly should have, in a way?
And the transfer window will keep coming up, but I mean, I don't think the transfer window is the reason why we didn't win today and why we didn't win against Fulham. I think there's enough on that pitch. I'm looking more at Mikel Arteta, if I'm honest. Now, yeah, the transfer window was underwhelming. Like, we know that and we knew that, but we're not sort of sat here with loads of injury. It wasn't like when Odegaard was out and we were kind of really wondering, why did you let Vieira and Smith Rowe go if you weren't going to trust Waneri and all these things, right? So that was a really valid question around the transfer window at the time, but I don't really see that question now for this one. I think this is a case of, you had the players available. I don't like the way you used them, Mikel. So, yeah, on the flip side though, me and thousands and thousands and thousands of others were saying we need a difference maker. We need a killer in the front three. We need someone who, and Saka is a lot of those things, but he can't be the only one. We need, something a bit more unpredictable. You need to just take something different. That's why I didn't mind the Sterling signing on deadline day, because at least it's different. Yeah. But it's not different if you don't use them. It's no different if you're using the same players. I look at what Tross had to do today. Now, to be fair, had the beating man put on a good cross and did okay. But if you're going to get if you're chasing a game, you're going to get someone who needs pace to attack the fullback, then that's what Sterling should be doing. So what, does he not have that pace? Well, I can't even answer it because we haven't seen him. So, lots of questions there.
Absolutely. And obviously there was, tensions are high on the stream, and I think a lot of people were pointing, fingers massively at Mikel Arteta, and there was a few murmurs of people saying, he's potentially cost us the league today. Do you share that opinion, and what is, if so, what's the thought process behind that?
Actually, and we've got Greenlee in the room, I feel a bit bad kind of getting wound up towards the end, because to be honest, I was pretty relaxed throughout, and I'm pretty relaxed right now, and not because I'm happy with the situation, but because I've actually come to not expect much more than this from Arsenal. I didn't think we dropped points today, but that we've got a bad result. That I think I said last week I was bored. The draw to Fulham, I'm just bored of the same problems. I'm bored of the same, whenever we don't get the result we want or need, it's the same reason we bring it up. So I was bored. Yeah. So I felt a bit like that today. What wound me up was actually sort of, where they were talking about the share of blame and responsibility. And I think when I say the players, I'm looking at the senior players. I'm looking at Martin Odegaard and players like that. The players who are out there week in, week out. And I'm looking at the manager. It's like, at the same time, Liverpool, I think, could play that exact same performance, and they probably win. Concede little to no chances, and just have enough openings for a Salah or someone to get a goal. Liverpool put in that performance and win. I promise you they do. So part of me is annoyed that Odegaard didn't bury his chance. Part of me is annoyed that, just one moment didn't drop for us. We didn't get that little bit of luck, or we didn't show that bit of quality with the half chance. But we wouldn't have been deserving of it. Everton defended really well. We didn't do enough. And Mikel Arteta, for me, while I like the first 11, fair play, I really do. And I think, to some level, I can understand he tried to roll the dice. Because if we go on and win that game, you're saying he was quite brave and really rolled the dice. But it didn't work. So unfortunately, you get judged on that. And that's that you had a bit of a shocker and actually made the game a much messier affair than it needed to be.
Absolutely. Listen, we'll drop points today.
Yeah.
Liverpool also dropped points today. They've obviously got a game less played. Obviously, that we don't know what's going to happen in that game.
Missed opportunity, man.
Such a missed opportunity. But the question
so
that
was Fulham. 4 more points. What are we with 6 behind? We could be within 2 points of them.
Yeah. They'd
have a game in hand, but my word, do things feel different?
So ultimately, look, the question that I had is, we're falling behind in the league quite clearly. Palace on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Do you think a result like this in the league allows us to potentially put more emphasis on the cup competitions, even if it is the Carabao Cup? What needs to change on Wednesday, essentially?
I don't know, because I just think ultimately this group needs a trophy. Yeah. Go with your first 11. Being deadly serious. Go with your first 11. Rotate for Palace away on the weekend. We need to come out with silverware. We cannot lose to Palace at home. And I know people say the Carabao Cup. Listen, for me, there's very little silverware in football you can even win. So I don't laugh at any of them. I didn't laugh at Ten Hag when he won the Carabao Cup or whoever. I want us to go and win that competition, so I'd go strong.